The BBC.
We've got some breaking news to start, Nikki. Sunday's Women's Six Nations game between France and Ireland has been called off. It's because of the virus. The Associated Press is reporting that several of the French backroom staff are COVID positive. So Ireland's women, instead of playing a test, will be preparing for a training camp this weekend instead. Now, the Six Nations organisers are expected to make an announcement about the women's and the men's tournaments later today. So the men are due to play their interrupted championship to a completion on Saturday, the final round of fixtures. There are 4 games left to play in the women's, so it's not quite so cut and dried, although England have already won the Women's Six Nations. They were going for a Grand Slam and still will this weekend, but the France-Ireland game that weirdly was going to be played in Ireland is off. We'll speak to Sarah Orchard in an hour. Marcus Rashford met his first professional hat-trick with more campaigning to end child food poverty. Rashford posted that as a hashtag online in the immediate aftermath of Manchester United's 5-0 win over Leipzig in the Champions League. Chris Sutton was at the game for 5 Live.
He's already a top player. His finishing, his link-up play, the threat which he offers. He's a brilliant footballer, a brilliant person. But off the bench tonight, United just looked such a better team going forward. They had that impetus, that threat, that confidence.
Yeah, they look really good in the Champions League, Manchester United. 2 wins from 2. They've beaten Paris Saint-Germain and now Leipzig. Owner Roman Abramovich was in the stands to watch Chelsea for the first time in almost 18 months last night. They beat Krasnodar 4-0 in Russia. Chelsea's manager is Frank Lampard.
I was aware that he was at the game, which always makes us happy. I always feel the support of the owner at the club, whether he's here at games or not. But to have him here is a nice bonus for myself, for the squad. I didn't manage to see him, but I'm very pleased we put on what I thought was a good performance with 4 goals and a clean sheet in his home country. So I hope it made him happy.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Chelsea topped their Champions League group after a win and a draw from their 2 games. Tonight it's all about the Europa League. The Irish champions Dundalk play Arsenal. Their defender Michael Duffy is an Arsenal fan. He loved Thierry Henry, so he asked to be confirmed in his honour.
He was my idol when I was growing up, and I asked for Thierry. That's my confirmation name. They said no at the start, but then the teacher came back 2 weeks later and says he was a saint, so you can have it.
So for those of you that don't know, at your first communion, you get to choose a saint for your confirmation name. So Saint Thierry it is for Michael Duffy. Tonight he gets to line up against his boyhood club. Leicester, Tottenham, Rangers, Celtic, they're also in Europa League action later tonight. We'll keep you posted in 5 Live Sport. We'll report on it tomorrow in Breakfast. The Olympic silver medalist Siobhan Marie O'Connor says she had no fears competing in Budapest at the International Swimming League. Despite the risk of COVID, O'Connor has a weakened immune system, but wasn't even aware of her condition when she first competed for Great Britain at London 2012.
It was crazy because I do think if I managed to make a home Olympic Games, when I was 16, whilst I was battling it, horrendous symptoms, and I don't really know how I kind of got through, but I used that as like, well, if I could get through that, I can get through anything.
Yeah, they're locked down for 6 weeks in Budapest during a COVID pandemic, the swimmers. O'Connor's London Roar compete in the next fixture of the ISL tomorrow. It's live on the BBC Sport app, and you can watch it on the iPlayer from 2 o'clock.
BBC Sport.